During the past week, we saw one of the biggest developments in the aviation industry. After years of looking to privatize national airline Air India, the Indian government has announced the winning bidder for the country's national airline. The winning bidder happens to be Indian conglomerate Tata Sons, which happens to be the founding company of the airline. This new development has made headlines in local and international press, and it has been a culmination of years of the Indian government putting up the controlling stake for the airline up for sale. After two previous failed attempts, the Indian government had issued an ultimatum given to prioritize the airline in 2020, after years of financial problems for the national airline of India. As mentioned before, Tata Sons is a major conglomerate in India, and prior to the announcement, it had been seen as a frontrunner to acquire the airline. It will do so in a deal reported to be worth around 18,000 crore, which will see Tata Sons acquire 100% stake in Air India along with the budget airline Air India Express. Along with that, Tata Sons will also acquire a 50% stake in the ground handling firm Air India SATS. By winning the bid for Air India, the airline will be returning to its founding company, Tata Sons. When it was first started in 1932, the previous name of Air India was Tata Airlines, which it operated under until 1946. Then the airline was nationalized in 1953. Since then, it has been 68 years since Air India was a private company, and there is a very big significance for its return to the Tata Sons company. Meanwhile, it concludes the search for a buyer for the majority stake of the airline by the Indian government. It is a huge weight off its back now, trying to run an airline, and because of its reported financial position, it has been putting money into the airline. According to some estimates, it costs around $3 million per day to operate the airline. By successfully selling the airline, it is part of the efforts to privatize present-day government entities to become private companies. As for why there has been difficulty over the years of trying to sell the airline, it mostly surrounds the terms and the stake the potential buyer would get, along with the debts of the airline. Back in 2018, the offer was a 76% stake in the airline, which would still see some government control the airline, which dissuaded its potential bidders. Sensing the urgency to sell the airline, the Indian government would eventually offer a 100% stake later on and lower the debt a potential winning bidder would take on. This time, after years of disappointment of selling the airline, the Indian government found some bidders, with the frontrunners being Tata Sons along with the SpiceJet founder Ajay Singh. In the process, there were several other bidders, though they did not meet the requirement by the government. And then we reached the announcement that Tata Sons would be taking on the majority stake of Air India, which the process is expected to be completed by the end of the year. With the controlling stake of Air India, Tata Sons will have one of the strongest portfolio of airlines in any company in India, as it has major stakes in Vistara along with AirAsia India. When combined, the airlines have around a 27% share of the Indian domestic air travel market. For Tata Sons, the real opportunity will be to tap into Air India's international network, which is the biggest strength of the carrier. The international market for Air India accounts for 2/3 of its revenues, and despite its problems, it is the biggest international airline from the country. In destinations such as North America, Europe, and the Middle East, Tata Sons will get to have Air India's attractive flight slots along with bilateral flight rights, which are not advantages other Indian-based carriers have. However, while the connection between Tata Sons and Air India will be realized once again, the real work will begin to finalize the deal along with improving the airline's financial situation. Both Tata Sons and the Indian government will be working to clear up some of the debt before the transfer to Tata Sons before the year's end. Meanwhile, regarding the staff of Air India, Tata Sons will not be able to lay off staff for at least 1 year from December 2021, though the exceptions can be based on performance and conduct. Also, as part of the deal, employees will get gratuity and provident fund and post-retirement medical benefits. However, come December 2022 and 2023, Tata Sons will have much more decision-making as to what will happen for the future of the 8,000 employees of Air India along with the 1,400 employees of Air India Express. In the meantime, following this announcement, it is going to be a transition period for the Indian government and Tata Sons, and part of that will be a forming of an advisory committee to oversee the process. While Tata Sons may not have much control as to how it will manage the staff over the next year, it won't be surprising if Tata Sons will initiate the process to make the airline much more leaner, and the first places it could make moves on would be its fleet. The airline currently has 4 remaining 747s, mostly used for VIP flights of Indian government officials. It won't be surprising if those aircraft will be retired from the fleet or put on the market for sale. As for the future of the airline, we will see how Tata Sons can be able to scale down the airline to make it much more financially viable, and how soon can it be done. I definitely hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Flights in Asia, highlighting the news and updates from the aviation and travel scene in the Asia Pacific. Thank you for watching and have a great day.